empower gem. It's the epilogue. It's a radiant. I need to get this epilogue off radiant and put it into an empowered one, crystal.
Hey, my
Now,
$20
Hey, yo, this is mine, bro. That's
then
mine.
I have the other one, the smaller ones, which is a good one. He has physical damage, critical damage, and crit hit. That's what I'm looking for, because on all of my gems, that's what I'm looking for. Critical hit on all of my damage, all of it. Because what I'm gonna do next on my gear, I'm gonna get movement speed and any other resources that I need for movement speed and magic find off my gear. Like having a ring that gives me magic find. I have the nitro banner that gives me magic find. I mean a light as well because I require light plus movement speed. I have the ally gives me light, physical damage, which is good. But I don't. I'm still missing a couple of emblems that's gonna give me what I'm looking for. So he'll definitely have the one shot in Geo top side. He'll definitely have the speed to move. So I'm making him into a flying
Exactly.
tank. So he could move fast and plus get in and out as fast as I need to farm. So I'll be using him to farm get my power rank up for my Ice Age, and I'm gonna farm him using for my Tomb Raiser. That's the reason why I'm using him. That's the reason why I'm focused on him as much, because the faster I get him up there, the faster I could get my other classes up as well. Because his light and his magic find is gonna be over the chart.
Yeah,
As right now, his
I'm pretty much doing the same thing when it comes to that. Like, I mean, I've got a Shadow Hunter that's already done that way. Like, I mean, I will tell you when it comes to like the speed and whatnot, you've got like the two fastest ones would be a Shadow Hunter and you're basically a Neo Ninja. They're almost the same type of build when it comes to that. You want to be able to use basically a Berserk Battle if you're going to use it at all, because it'll give you 750 more light when it comes to it, and you'll be able to go along if you're using like, I mean, that's a good way to do the Shadow Hunter. You want to be able to look at exactly what you're doing overall as well. So you'll be able to keep going with that and be able to keep your stats up. The more light you've got, of course, it's good also to use a lot of light if you're using it for delves. But say certain characters will actually drop off in delves at about 140 to 145. But Subtactics, how you doing, my friend? But
yeah.
anyway, regardless of that, you want to look at exactly what. Ooh, sweet man,
It's,
GG.
it's
But
like this
the
right
thing
now.
is,
I
you
have
want to look at exactly what you're doing, like overall. Like, I mean, you want to get every gem. Okay, first off, you want to get all. I'm doing good. I'm just doing what I'm doing. But you want to get all your gems. It sounds like a waste of time, but you want to get all your gems to 23. You want to get all your gems to PR above 520 and be able to keep going with that. So you want to be able to have the PR. You want to get your gems to 23 because you don't want to waste 9 lives on a lower class gem. And then you'll be able to push up your stats. So you want to be able to look at exactly what you're doing with your characters. Look, I mean, you don't want to go along and use a ninth life, or if you get a chance of getting them from doing the boxes that you can get from the market from your cubits, or whatnot, or you can basically just craft them. Do not use horseshoes in the game. I do not use like the clovers because they're absolutely useless. Now they're not useless by themselves. What you want to do is save up those, and if you get the clover tome and stuff like that, you want to get them all into 9 lives. You want to save for to a very end game. Reason being is when you get them to the end game itself, you'll be able to actually use all the 9 lives that you can actually possibly get, and be able to get your gems up the power up a lot faster. So you don't want to start off at a lower level because it doesn't work because you'll be wasting. This is why a lot of people spending a lot of money into 9 lives and stuff, and they just go
what
pop,
do I
pop.
need to
But
use? What
the
do I
only
use?
problem is you're just wasting your credits. You're wasting everything in that direction. So once you get used to doing that, you'll be able to keep going with that, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Now, if you're
What?
if you're doing what's up?
No, I'm just reading my chat. He's
Oh,
saying, what do I not use? What are you talking about?
oh, what am I talking about, or you?
No. I'm talking to my stream. You're talking to my
Oh,
stream. I'm talking to my stream as well.
oh, okay.
He's saying, what do I not use? What do I not use? Who are you talking? Are you talking? Oh snap! About
Oh, he's probably talking about using Ninth Lives and stuff at the beginning, like for the level 1 gems to try to push up, because you're only gaining one level, or possibly a level, for every Ninth Life. So you don't want to
yeah.
waste 9 lives. Sometimes you will get a gem that will go from 22 to 25, or 23 to 20. But it's such a low luck chance on those, it's not even worth doing. You don't want to waste 9 lives. Trust me in that. Like, I mean, you want to be able to get as much stat beforehand, so you can actually, when you go to mold your character, make it stronger, you'll be able to go along and do it that way and make it work right for you. So you're not going to be able to waste some resource that you can actually use later. It's like looking for crystalline gear. If you're constantly doing delves, okay, you get mastery and stuff from delves, but you might be waiting a while to get that crystalline gear, or you might be doing whatever. And if you're constantly doing delves, yes, you get the crystalline 4, but if you don't have the gems and stuff like that, you're going to be struggling through the delves itself, or you're not going to have the stats to do it. So you got to be very careful what you're doing that way. So you want to be able to utilize what you can actually do. And you also, if you wanted to rush your character just a little bit, but it's kind of recommended at the end game, you can get golden keys that will actually give you instant stellars. Now, they're good for resources and be able to actually power level your character up even faster to that point. But you need a lot of them. So don't worry about using them at the very beginning, because sometimes you get poor stats. You want to use them at end game, and you want to be able to save up as many as you can. So you'll be able to use and utilize all your gems and all your resources going towards the end game. If you cannot basically have time enough to
Hello,
wait
hi.
for the end game, your end game will be how much stat you will have, how much it's going to cost for leveling your gems, and so on and so forth. So you got to be very careful of what you're doing. You don't want to go along and basically waste a resource on something that you can actually use later on, and then you find out that you're actually basically slowing yourself down. If you slow yourself down, it basically that's your own prerogative. And like I said, as I told people before, after playing this game for about 8 years, I look at exactly what I can actually do and how I can help with the community, and that's exactly what it is. So I look at exactly what people do and how they actually play the game. And certain instances, it's great that basically to see people like getting ahead just a little bit. But see, getting ahead in PR don't mean nothing either, because I can go along and get
Let's
a piece of
go.
gear
I just want
and
to
not know
barter.
how to roll, or I might get a gem and level the gem and have the wrong gem sets.
Oh
Yes,
snap!
there
Never heard of
is
jump.
builds in this game. There is a lot of stuff in this game. A lot of stuff
Yeah.
that people forget about or don't understand about it. So they'll go along and slap a character together. But as you see, like even with my Ice Age, well, it's 33k, but I'm one-shotting everything. And I could do the same thing in U10. I could do U9. I could do like heavy damage
Did you
in
get?
Delves, because this is a Delves build. And if you could do U9 and U10, you're going to do something in Delves. If you cannot, because it's all to do with the light damage, and your magic or physical damage. And if you don't do it right, you'll basically end up basically slowing yourself down, or you won't be able to play the game correctly. So you'll end up basically just quitting the game or doing something else, because it's more
Who's Michael
frustrating if it's not done right.
Get stuck.
I've seen
Yes.
people with 24 to 26 kpr and turning around and said to me, how do you get my PR higher? Well, first off, did you start off with like a 2-star in basically bigger gems? which is the Empower Gems? Did you start off with 2 stars? Or did you look for 800 plus PR that'll give you 3 stars, a lot better stats? Or did you start off with 1 star regular small gems or less than 400? Or did you actually augment your gems so you'd be able to better your stats? Now, it's a lot of factors that actually be able to do it that way and what it actually will benefit you. If you do not understand this itself, playing Trove, well, that means you really don't understand Trove itself. Like, I mean,
Well,
I
in a
love...
whole Trove is a give and take game.
Right.
You have to give and take. You have to give and take. If you want more health, you have less power. If you have more power, you have less health.
Exactly.
So it's a give and take game. So if you want something, you have to compromise with something in order to you to get what you want.
Right.
That's the whole entire game itself, right there. That's the whole entire game right there itself.
Right. Like, I mean, also you got to remember you got stats that works with other stats. So if you've got like a Pyrodisc is good for AoE damage. But what are you going to stack it with? Are you going to stack it with something that you're going to instantly die, or don't have enough health and try to depend on pure DPS? Yes, pure DPS only works at certain characters. It don't work with all. So you got to have a mix and match and see what you can actually do with those characters. Like, I mean, you can have a good build, yes, but if you can get one shot at your damage, don't mean nothing. That means you're dead. You're basically looking at your skull or your tombstone more so than not. So if you're looking at your tombstone more than what you're actually up, that means you've got a mistake made in your character somewhere, or you got too much of one thing and not enough for the other.
Yep.
So that's how that works. Like, everything is trade-off in this game. Like, I mean, if you make a pure DPS, make sure you've got the gems to back it up. If you don't bother with the pure DPS until much later, because you'll actually make a difference at the end. I done with the same thing with my Shadow Hunter. My Shadow Hunter is pretty much almost maxed right now. I've got other characters as well, but it depends on what you're doing and how well you can actually do it.
I've had a hacker in my game.
I love it itself. Like I said, I like the way Trove works.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a challenge. Trove is a challenge in a different way.
You're not dead. Yep, you can do damage while you're not dead. The straight facts. How are you gonna do damage if you're dead?
Exactly. Like, I mean, you can basically use your tomb. You can use your tombstone as a damage dealer. It doesn't work.
Yep. You know, and that's it. As you can see, that's what I'm doing right now with my Neo Ninja. I'm using the stronger class that I have right now to actually farm better gem. You know, it's gonna take me a little while to get it. You know, but for where my Neo Ninja is right now, I just crafted him day before yesterday. I crafted him day before yesterday. Right now, he has a whole lot of magic find on him just for being crafted. He's strong, but he's not as strong to do U9. He could do U8. He could do U8 quite fine. He could do U6 and any other thing under it. He could. But when it comes to U9, he's not gonna do anything. He just get one pump. Is because, first of all, a lot of his gem slots are closed, and yet his level is still down. He's not all the way up there. He doesn't have the right gem to do it. He doesn't have the
How you doing, homie?
The right stuff to do it and get it done.
And for everybody, just welcome to the stream. Hopefully, all enjoy the content so far. Like I'll be doing the stream for a little bit. I try to not make really long streams because I know people get bored just by watching.
I won again. Let's go.
But yeah, but it's all good. Like I said, the information shared from me and Fish right now. Basically, Strata Fish basically is playing right now with me as well. Basically learning how to play this game. If you got any like to know anything about the game itself or builds, I'd be able to help you with the builds and basically be able to share some information over time. Now there is builds online, but some of the stuff is outdated, and it's also very old. So I try to keep up with the updates and stuff like that, so I can make stuff work for the new updates. which is basically all to do with delves and stuff like that.
What I found about
Like,
stability is
there's a lot of old builds that doesn't work anymore, or they got to completely changed, or characters being nerfed. So you got to be very careful with that. Same thing with gems. Some gem sets will work with certain characters, and some gem sets will not work because of the way they actually designed. Like, I mean, Vampiric Vanquisher doesn't work with every class, but it can be used for every class.
Yeah, stability.
Oh,
stability
nice. Almighty, I tell you what. What you could do if you just get picking up the game, or anybody just picking up the game, basically, you can learn. Like, I've got a YouTube channel. Basically, you can drop me a like and be able to get some alpha information. I've got some stuff you to start off. To get easy mastery up to 20 and be able to trade. Once you could trade, you can do a lot of stuff in the game. If you can't trade, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, it's me and Techno. If you're talking about being carried, imagine being carried. For me, I'm not.
Yes.
Right now, I'm getting carried right now. But right now, Techno is the fast one. I'm not as fast as Techno. I could do U9 quite fine, and I could do U10 quite fine with my Ice Age. I mean, with Tomb Raider.
But like I said, what I was going to say is, we basically, sorry about that, they're all almighty. We're basically doing voice sharing, and I was trying not to talk over each other, respect. But, basically, if you really want to have a hand with the game and stuff like that, just let me know. Like, I mean, I'm there to help out as many people as possible. I'm hopefully trying to get... No. See, the thing is, it's not being bad, dude. Like, think about it this way. When you actually start off with the game itself, there's a lot of information in this game, and it can be overwhelming for some people. So this is what I try to break it down. I'll try to break it down as much as I can so people can actually understand how to play this game. Because it's not... See, there's another game that's similar to this, and that is Diablo. Diablo 3 is similar to this when it comes to, like, making the whirlwind build, using certain weapons, certain aspects of the game. Instead of having weapons that correspond, you get gems that correspond with each other. So you can get the maximum DPS and a maximum output of that one character. So and it's not all just about getting your DPS up, it's also about survivability. Because as I said before in this video, when you actually are dead, your DPS means nothing. So that means you've got to go back and try to figure out how to fix your DPS so you can stay alive and be able to basically still making the maximum DPS. I see Neo Ninjas going as a glass cannon, and I see a lot more people dying because of their glass cannon. Yes, they could do a lot of DPS, but they don't survive. You basically got to pop a lot of potions or use death defying or something like that. And the overall aspect is not just using death defying. Yes, it's fine to use that, but to actually survive without basically getting one shot at everything. So you got to learn how to play the game in that direction so you'll be able to survive and keep your DPS up. And then when you're actually playing together with other people, all your DPS is shared to other people.
Yep. That's the reason why I'm saying it's best to build Neo Ninja
Lady, don't let people, like I said, try to say something to you, dude. Like I said, don't read into anything online or PlayStation. I will tell you that. If you read into it, that's what you're going to be believing in that direction. You just be you, dude. And if you need a hand or anyone needs a hand, I'm there. And that's what I do.
That's the reason why I'm building my Neo Ninja as a flying tank, because I don't want to get one shot anywhere I'm going.
No, I'm doing the same thing.
I'm gonna do the one shot, so it doesn't make any sense doing it.
Right.
You're what?
It's gonna take. No, I've been playing this game for a little bit over a month, or close to a month, and the amount of stuff I have learned, Techno has helped me out. I do play Techno a lot, but he got me to one stage and then he left. When he got back, I'm already up there, and he was
Right.
he was quite surprised.
Wow, you just made me use my bomb!
Yo. Mute your mic if you're gonna be shouting, please.
Exactly.
Or kick you out of the party. Ooh,
But see, the thing is, like I said, when it comes to grinding and stuff like that, I'm there to help people. I'm here to basically help people with the game itself. Like I've been playing this game 8 years. I leave if I do help you and I leave you. That doesn't mean I'm actually leaving you permanently. I want to see how good you can do on your own. I want to see how far you can get, how much information you can actually gather, and I'll tell you exactly how to get the information, but that's up to you if you want to do it or not. So it's more to do with the overall aspect of doing something basically to help you to game. If you're actually if you're doing like Fortnite, if you're doing whatever, if you're doing any type of game itself, like I said, to know how to do something and to be able to keep going, like I mean, that's exactly what you got to look at. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to look at exactly be struggling, because this game takes months to play. It's not something you pick up and be done. I will tell you this right now. Like I mean, it's what it is. Yeah. Well, I will say this, my friend. That's not good. Wait, it'll be one less almighty in the world. That's not what you want to do, dude. But anyway, regardless of that, we need you. Anyway, regardless of that, we also need good YouTubers. So, but what I'm saying is, you want to be able to utilize exactly what you're doing in the game, or any game for that matter. Like if you don't understand it, learn how to do it. If you don't learn how to do it, then you want to be able to advance yourself to be able to do it at. Like I mean, you basically it's all a learning curve. That's all games is.
It's a learning process.
Yep. Like I mean, it took me a couple of years to get like learn how the different things changed in the game. Now, there's certain things that have to change in the game. Like I mean, certain characters I left out because I'm like, okay, I could build it, but what happens if it gets nerfed or changed? So I've got like part of my characters that I don't build because of the fact that if you get something nerfed, I got a chance of gaining it back from where I basically stopped.
Oh, wait, look here.
So I can actually do that. If you're looking for flux, you can actually grind and basically grind in the game itself, and you'll be able to loot collect everything. And you also get mastery. If you're new to the game itself, you can actually get mastery and from everything that you loot. So if you've got like stellars and stuff like that, you'll be able to keep going with that. So you'll be able to get a lot of flux, and you'll be able to get a lot of intake. So you'll be able to keep going and make a lot of in-game currency. The two in-game currencies currently, the flux, and the next in-game currency would be Glem. Glem is basically only used for fishing. It's also good for beginning mastery and beginning mastery levels. So Glem is basically also used for farming, but you can use it for end-game farming or doing mass farms, or you could buy Glem off of the market itself, which basically, if you push on your options key and you go to market, you'll be able to go along and just say if I'm looking for souls or anything like that, you'll be able to utilize that. But you got to be level 20 mastery to use that system. So it's not a hard system. You just got to watch it that you don't get ripped off or get stuff done to you.
Okay, like this is what he's talking about. Just in the chat. This is what he's talking about. If you don't understand, you go, press option, marketplace right here. This is where you go. Right. This is where you could buy whatever you want. If you press R1. It takes you to the selling options. As you can see, right now I have 5,000 Glim for sale for 1,000 Glim for 5,000. Flux. That's exactly what I'm selling. Sorry.
Well, if you got
that's accurate right there. That's accurate.
Right.
That's the normal price. Now,
if you've got no
Glim,
use for Glim. If you got no use for Glim, let me explain this one. If you got no use for Glim, you can always sell it to the market, or basically to make extra flux. You can also sell mounts and stuff that you don't have. If you've got a multiple different mounts that you pick up from adventure boxes and stuff, you already got them. You can actually sell them for flux. You actually, you basically, what it is, you constantly get the flux in the game. It's not hard to get to itself. Like, when it comes to getting stellars and stuff, it takes Magic Find. You want to have up to 5k plus Magic Find to actually get most stellars. And once you actually get enough Magic Find by getting dragons, and basically I'll show you exactly what one of the dragons looked like to itself. This is the Ice Dragon, but there's multiple different ones you can actually get in the game itself. And each one of them will give you 50 to 100 Magic Find. There is actually a Block Dragon, not the Blocktron, but the Block Dragon, which is kind of like, looks like this. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. And it's actually good for 100 Magic Find. And what it is, it'll be the highest Magic Find for every dragon. It looks a bit weird, this dragon does, to a point, because it's all mill blocks, but it's like Lego blocks. But the only thing is, it actually will give you 100. And when you actually look at your stats, you look at the stats itself, and it will tell you what your stats is, what the name of the dragon, if you're looking for it. And basically, you can buy, get these parts from the adventure boxes, which is kind of rare eggs, which you need five of them to get those. You also need flux and a few other materials to actually craft this one. And when you actually finish with that, you'll be able to get movement speed, glide speed, and stuff like that. There's different dragons in the game will give you different stats. There's ones that will give you critical damage. There's ones that will give you magic damage, and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to take this information and basically play the game a little bit better when it comes to it. Now, the thing is, the information itself will actually be correspondingly to how many dragons you have and how much Magic Find. Like, the Magic Find on this character currently, because I've got like Patron and stuff running, but now you can get a high Magic Find without Magic Find. But I've got over 10,000 right now currently. So that means almost every dungeon will give me a stellar or stellar drop. If you do not have that much Magic Find, you can also get shadows and stuff like that, and you can also get Radiance. Radiance will actually start dropping about 1,005 Magic Find, and you'll start getting those, but you get a very low drop chance of them. Once you get about 2,000, you start getting more Radiance, and you'll be able to use Radiance as a flux income. You also can be able to use the market to what your own whims and what you're going to be able to do with that. So if you decide to go along and buy something off the market, you can actually do it that way and basically utilize what the market will give you. You can actually use, some people flip the market, some people actually don't. A flipping market sometimes works, sometimes it don't. You got to watch what you're doing with that. So you got to be very careful what you're doing. So there's different ways to make flux. Choose whichever way you want to make flux to keep going. And so you can be able to make as much in-game currency as possible.
Dragon Souls.
So that's how that works. So the more flux you have, the more stuff you can buy. The more stuff you can buy, the quicker you can get your mastery up. Your mastery is where this game sits. And it sits here big time for that. So you want to be able to know exactly where your mastery is, and once you get the mastery and your flux intake, you'll be able to buy a lot more stuff off the market, plus you'll be able to keep going through the game itself. So the more flux you make every hour, not every day, but the more you grind, the more flux you make for every hour, and you can actually buy more stuff in the market or do some more trades. So that will actually help. So, see, if you've got like enough to get stellars, then your flux intake will be just stellars in most cases. Now you pick up radiance and stuff like that as you go to make up the flux. You probably will leave shadows behind to that point, because shadows doesn't give you much flux at all. So you got to look at exactly what the highest value is, and you want to fill your inventory with your highest value. Whatever your intake is of that one item. So that will
Which is
help
me,
you big
I
time
actually,
in the end game.
I loot collect everything. It doesn't matter if it's a Shadow, Radiant, or Rainbow. I loot collect everything anyway, because
Right.
I keep them. I keep looking at my slots. If it's
Right,
full,
Fish.
if I could collect 2 more items. I don't even bother collect 2 items. I just go on and just empty
Right.
immediately because I never know if I'm gonna find something good in it in the other dungeon.
Right. But the only thing is, see, as Fish just mentioned, he don't have a lot of magic finds, so he's picking up everything. But once you get to end game, you want to be picking up certain items. Because once you fill up your inventory, you look at shadow item or something like that, or rainbow item. Yes, it's okay to pick them up, but you'll be doing a lot of cashing off constantly. So you'll be losing time in dungeons. If you're losing a lot of time in dungeons, stuff like that, basically what it is, it's a trade-off between getting a good item, because if you get a bunch of good items, you'll basically make more flux per hour. You get a bunch of not so good items, well, that means you making less. With Patreon and stuff like that will help you quite a bit, but do not waste money or waste flux on just buying Patreon right off the hop. You want at least to have at least 3,000 magic find and higher to actually use Patreon correctly, because what it'll do is almost double your magic find when it comes to Patreon. So if you're using Patreon in a very early game, yes, you could get it for making resources, but see, resources are easy to get. That is the problem with this game. If you're looking for flux, you want to use your Patreon for flux, and your flux is going to be multiplied. Now you can still get the multiplication with everything else as well, so that will help.
No.
So this is basically how to use the market and be able to utilize everything in the game itself when it comes to it. Now, some people will actually start the game and have like they'll be saying, "Oh, use this on Tuesday or use this on Wednesday because there's certain days that you get it." Right now is an EXP day, but if you've got certain days to do your grind and you want to get more resources, yes, Patreon does help, but then you're actually killing off your Patreon later on in later game because you're actually just basically wasting Patreon that you can actually get double and triple the resource. Instead of just worrying about that one resource that you could have gotten, you could have got 3 or 4 or 5 types of that resource, and you'd basically be able to keep going. Sitting with flux and stuff like that will help you quite a bit. So if you get like the free patrons from to say logins or weekly, you want to be able to get that itself and save them for a later game, because you'll actually be able to utilize those pretty good. Like, I mean, I'm running Patreon right now. I've got another 30-day Patreon in me. I can buy another 30 days on top of that just because I've got the flux to do so. But if you do not utilize it, you basically you want to be able to can afford your first Patreon, because what would happen is you'll slow yourself down a lot. And once you get to the end game, which I'm at pretty much, only for a little bit of mastery here and there and whatnot. It's all to do more to do with farming and stuff like that, which I'm currently doing. Basically, it's more to do with the overall intake of your resources. The more resources you get, the more flux you make, and the better the outcome will be. So, if you got something like that's just okay, if I'm doing Cinnabar and I decide to go along and say, okay, I can use a Patreon to get Cinnabar and I want to get my rings up. Okay, Cinnabar to a point, yes. On Resource Day, getting Cinnabar using Patreon, it sounds great, right? But you only benefit one resource. If you're actually doing like the Patreon and you got like a 30-day Patreon or a 1-day Patreon, and you're actually doing grinding in dungeons, well, you can use that. If you can get flux, in one instance, you go along and getting like your Cinnabar in another instance, and you get everything, and you spend like 2 or 3 hours of each resource collecting, you'll basically benefit yourself a heck of a lot more instead of just doing one resource. What's up, Fish?
I think he's making a YouTube video as well.
But that's exactly how it works. So it's a trade-off. So like I said, when it comes to like doing like the game correctly, you don't want to waste resource. Everything that you waste at the earlier stages will harm you later on, and this is the way it works. So you got to put stuff together. Anyway, basically this is the end of my stream for now. I'll be doing a stream later on, and like I said, thanks to everybody that's tuned in or listened or doing whatever. Hopefully, information that I'll give out is basically will help you out quite a bit, and hopefully it helped out both cases in both streams or just doing whatever. And hopefully, basically, information will be carried over and be able to help you to actually play the game quite a bit. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.
Yo, Techno.